Hi, it's Barry Davenport with Live Bold and Bloom. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about how to create habits that you can sustain for life. Now, I'm sure you've tried to integrate habits into your life before, whether it's exercise or meditating or writing, whatever it happens to be. And you've probably found that it's pretty difficult to do that, or at least to build them so that you can sustain them. We usually get off to a really great start when we try to create a new habit, and then over time, we begin to slip out of our routine, to allow the habit to fall by the wayside, and then ultimately to abandon it altogether. And of course, that creates a cycle of feeling pretty bad about yourself. You think you're not capable of creating habits, or you don't have enough willpower, or even you think there's some kind of character flaw you might have that causes you to be slack and everybody else can do this. Well, that's absolutely not true. Everyone has difficulties with building habits. Some people are more practiced at it than others. And there is an art and a science to creating habits that you can actually sustain for life. So why is it that we have such trouble creating habits? Well, it's because habits are built as part of our brain chemistry. We actually have to rewire our brains in order to accommodate this new behavior into our lives. So it takes some very specific steps and very specific practice steps in order to integrate that new behavior. So if you would like to try to build a new habit into your life, why don't you go grab a pen and paper, and I will tell you some of these really specific steps. I work with Leo Babauta of Zen Habits and Katie Tallow of Momentum Gathering on a course called the Habit Course, and we've based this course and the simple method that we teach on some really specific scientific studies that have come out about what it takes to integrate new habits into your life. And there are some very simple but specific things you need to do. So there's 6 things, and let's start with the first one, which is planning. Now, a lot of us get really enthusiastic about starting a new habit. Let's say it's January 1st and we want to get on a big exercise program. So we jump right in and immediately start running like crazy, going on a diet, and doing whatever it is we think that will help us lose weight and get in shape. But we don't realize that it actually takes some pre-planning to prepare ourselves for the ultimate success that we want to have with our habit. Now, the planning that you'll be doing is related to the next 5 things that are part of building sustainable habits. So after the planning stage, what you want to do is think about the habit you are doing and how to break it down into the smallest parts that you can, and how to keep it to a very short amount of time. So let's say your habit is exercising or maybe running. You want to break that down into even smaller habits, like maybe it's putting on your exercise clothes, because that is one new behavior that you're going to have to integrate into your life if you're going to start exercising. So if you begin with that very small piece of the running habit, getting up and putting on your exercise clothes, that's a great way to start. You also want to make sure you keep the habit to just 5 minutes in the beginning. Now, I know that seems like a short amount of time, and for some habits it may feel incredibly awkward. Let's say it's writing or meditating. Stopping after 5 minutes may be hard to do. But the important thing is about this 5-minute rule is that you are trying to establish the time frame within your life and just get that element of time carved out for yourself before you increase the amount of time and increase the difficulty of the habit that you're working on. You need to do this until it begins to feel automatic before you increase your time. And sometimes that can take a week or 2 before you actually feel like, okay, I'm used to integrating this behavior into my life every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So keep it small, keep it short time frame. Then the third thing that you need to do is set up a trigger. And a trigger is actually a habit that you already have established, or a behavior you already have established that you can attach your new habit work to. So it could be brushing your teeth, for example. And if you take our habit of getting up and putting on your exercise clothes, then you would want to do that immediately after you brush your teeth, or whatever your trigger happens to be. It could be getting up for your coffee, or going to get the newspaper, or putting your children to bed. But whatever the trigger is, it needs to be something that is already completely automatic for you and is already integrated into your life. But having that trigger is extremely important. It will help remind you that it's time for that habit. So that's the third key element. The fourth key element is setting up a system of accountability. Now, you want to make sure that you announce your habit to the world. And sometimes we don't do that because we're afraid that if we announce it and we fail, then we have the embarrassment of having to tell people that we didn't follow through. Well, that's part of the point of accountability. We want to have that little tension there of maybe feeling embarrassed. So we don't want to feel embarrassed, so we do the habit, and that's where the accountability works. You can set up accountability by announcing to your friends and family, getting online and doing it through social media, and there are plenty of forums that support a wide variety of activities that you can go on and actually build a whole group of accountability for one another. We do that within our habit course, by the way, and it really works well. We have a forum where people interact and share their habit work, and they support one another, and that's really great. The next thing you want to have is a reward system. And a reward system is really good because you're doing hard work and you want to feel like as soon as that habits work starts to get boring or tedious, you have something to look forward to and some feeling like you're getting a pat on the back for what you're doing. So immediately following the habit, you want to give yourself that reward. It can be something like a piece of chocolate or just closing your eyes and resting for 5 minutes or listening to music. We found that some of our students really love giving themselves gold stars. They get a calendar out and every day they do their habit, they put a gold star on it. That sounds kind of juvenile, but if you remember back in grade school when you get gold stars, it creates a really nice feeling of satisfaction. So you might give that a try. In addition to the system of rewards and accountability, you also want to make sure you set up a backup plan for yourself. And this is in case something happens to disrupt your habit. And more than likely, something will happen to disrupt your habit. You might get sick, you may have to travel, things happen, and you may have a day or two where your habit gets interrupted. So you want to plan and prepare for that. And sometimes you can plan in advance by thinking about, if I have to travel a lot, how am I going to work my habit into the travel? If I get sick, what is something small I can do to keep myself motivated to do the habit, even in a small way, while I'm feeling sick? So having a backup plan is critical so you're not surprised when something comes in to disrupt your plan. So if you work on these 6 steps, having the planning, the trigger, the keeping it small and to 5 minutes, the system of accountability and rewards, and also having a backup plan, this will go such a long way in helping you to sustain your habit if you stay committed to these techniques and to this simple method. So I'd love to hear more from you about how this works for you in the comments at Live Bold and Bloom. Please come over and check out the site and download a copy of my free Bold Living Starter Kit. And I look forward to seeing you over there. And thank you so much for coming by and listening to my video today. Take care.